Principle 10. People become what they believe. It's a strange situation. On one hand, for instance, spirituality is recognized in the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child as a basic human right. Yet on the other, any overarching description of exactly what this spirituality consists of, especially one that would make sense at a popular level, remains hard to agree upon. So while there's growing recognition and understanding that spiritual health is a vital ingredient of overall human well-being, at the same time there's little consensus at either a popular or an academic level around exactly what spirituality is. For many years, social scientists, psychologists and psychiatrists, anthropologists, neurologists and criminologists have been writing and talking about a range of really important human themes, such as shame, guilt, repentance, justice, stigma, punishment, retribution, desire, dignity, hope, mercy, reconciliation, atonement, forgiveness, love, and restoration. Here, though, is an extraordinary thing. All these categories are also exactly the same ones as those used by theologians and others who write about spirituality. It's extremely strange, therefore, that it's taken us this long to begin to recognize the depth of this crossover. Now, perhaps this is because most of us are rather justifiably scared stiff by the abuses and excesses of religious fundamentalists who've hijacked so much of this language to push their own agendas of exclusion, or to focus on theories about life beyond death rather than working hard to find meaning and purpose and well-being in the here and now. Or maybe it's because theologians speak a language that makes little practical sense to most of us, even those of us who choose a religious faith. And therefore, we opt not to go anywhere near any of these issues for fear of revealing our lack of understanding. Whatever its causes, though, the neglect of this vital public conversation around the importance of spirituality is costing our society dearly, I believe. More than that, it's a price that will only continue to rise until we find the courage to explore and articulate together a spirituality around issues such as education, youth work, social care, housing, the justice system, policing, around poverty and disenfranchisement. We know that the old pull yourself up by your own bootstraps approach to personal change rarely works. The reason is that many people in our society don't just have any boots, let alone the straps to go with them. Real empowerment comes from a sense of awareness about who you are, why you're here, and what your choices are. In the words of American psychologist William James, you're not what you think you are, but what you think you are. It's time that the old suspicion of faith and spirituality gave way to a more thoughtful recognition of and proactive engagement with its transformative power. Whether it's via the pathway of traditional religion in all its diversity, or a spiritual encounter outside that context altogether. But its hallmark, wherever it comes from, is always an immediate and more often than not, a lifelong impact on a person's entire being. That's certainly my experience. Put differently, external transformation is never enough. The impact of poverty, disadvantage, and exclusion cannot be addressed at any deep and sustainable manner unless we also recognize that a sense of inner hope is essential, an essential part of our response. Our challenge is to promote a culture that not only creates the opportunities, time and space to explore all this, but as part of that, to embrace a new openness to the transcendent and spiritual in all their various forms as a key part of that journey. I have a friend who's served for many years now as a senior director of adult social services for a very large local authority. A few months ago, he explained to me that it had suddenly dawned on him that he'd never witnessed a single case of true personal transformation as an outcome of the work of statutory agencies. We just don't do that kind of work, he said. Our work focuses on support rather than transformation. And the thing that worries me, if I'm honest, is whether we're inadvertently spreading generational dependency rather than empowerment for anyone. All this represents a giant weakness in all our policy making. It's time, therefore, that we had the courage to create the space for a national conversation about the relationship of spirituality to social change. Because to deny its legitimacy and exclude it from public discourse is an act of self-deception. People become what people believe.